guys, welcome back to a new video. I finally got the time to film the girl talk. It's hard for me to find time to film this kind of videos where I just sit down and talk, or even the fashion videos, because I don't have as much free time as I did when I was on holiday. So it's just a matter of me postponing things until I get the time. I don't have the time to film them because of my schoolwork and the kind of schedule I'm working with right now. Hi guys, I am currently editing the video you're watching right now, and I thought I should give a disclaimer. While filming this video, I had a really bad cold, so my pronunciation of some words is so off. It's actually so funny, and I can't find a way to mask it because my nose was super blocked and it just sounds really weird. So yeah, I am just giving you guys a heads up. I just had to film the video sounding the way I did. I couldn't hide it or anything like that. So yeah, back to the video. But I finally got the time to film it, and I'll be doing that today. And as I go through the topics you guys sent me on my Instagram, I will be doing my makeup as well. I'm not going to point out any of the products I use. I'll just insert them on the screen, and I'll also include their names down below. My products really don't change, they're the same. I'll still include them either way. So yeah, I'll be answering your questions as I do my makeup. I'm going to start by picking out what makeup look I want to do, and then I'll come back and start the video. I'll also do my edges off camera because I think I've done my edges on camera so many times. So you guys must know how I do my edges by now. So I will do them off camera and then I'll come back and continue with the video. I really don't feel like using foundation, so I'm being drawn towards just using concealer, contour, blush without any foundation. I don't feel like using foundation today, mainly because I don't want to have to wash it off. So I'm going to just use concealer, contour, blush. I'll use everything else other than the foundation. But I don't know if that's gonna work because I have an orange makeup look in mind, and I think it can work without me having a full face because it's really simple. I think we can all agree relationships right now are not what they used to be. There's a lot that has changed when it comes to relationships. If you're a hopeless romantic in this generation, you're at a big disadvantage because relationships they've changed. Dynamics have changed. What people want has changed. What people accept has changed. I think most people in our generation right now don't really want to be in relationships because according to them, relationships are too hard. I think that's something I've heard a couple of times. People saying relationships are too much work, they require too much, she's asking for too much, he's asking for too much. That's something I've heard a lot. One thing I strongly believe in is we are all kind of stuck in a cycle of people who are not healed. Let's say I'm in a relationship with person X and that relationship doesn't end well, and I end up having things that affected me but I don't address them. So I just end up tucking them away and acting like they don't exist, and then I get into another relationship and I end up hurting that other person in the other relationship because I'm afraid they're gonna do to me what the previous person did to me. And these are two completely different people. So instead of healing from what the last person did to me, I carry whatever I'm feeling, and then when I go into the next relationship without even realizing it, I carry forward everything I'm feeling from the last relationship into the next one. And I think I've actually seen a tweet where the person was saying, this boy broke my heart. Now every boy that I meet from now on is going to pay for what this other guy did to me. And I think that's actually something that's happening. And not just with the girls, even with the guys. Let's say a guy has dated a girl and the girl ends up hurting him, and then he decides from then forward, every person that I meet has to pay for what the person before me has done. We're dealing with a generation of people who have not healed from a number of things, not even to do with relationships. You could be carrying things from your childhood and you don't even realize that they're affecting your current relationship. Everyone has something from their childhood that they don't talk about. Probably not everyone, but there are things we carry from our childhood that we don't address, and we don't realize that those things actually affect the people in our lives. But there's this thing about heal your younger self. so that you don't end up hurting the people that are around you. I think sometimes we don't realize that things that happen to us when we were younger do come and haunt us when we're older. That's something that happens, and we don't realize it, but it actually does affect the way we are in relationships as well. And this whole thing that I'm talking about is just to kind of connect the way relationships are right now. Like, sometimes we don't realize that we have things to heal from, and those things that we are not healing from end up affecting our relationships, and then in that relationship you end up affecting someone else or hurting someone else, and that someone else goes ahead and gets into another relationship, and maybe they don't also deal with everything that happened to them, and they end up carrying it forward to the next person. I feel like that's kind of the cycle we're in right now. Also, relationships are just not what they used to be. Like, loyalty is not a big thing anymore. It's like, it's just something on the side, and loyalty is a very big thing when you're in a relationship. And if there's no loyalty, then what's the use of the relationship? Loyalty is not really what it used to be in the past. It's almost non-existent, actually. If you do find someone, especially in Nairobi, if you find someone who is loyal to you, you're luckier than you think you are, because I'm telling you, it's like, loyalty is this big thing that most people can't do. So that's another reason why I think relationships are not what they used to be. There's also the fact that social media has made relationships seem like the most important thing in life, and that's not true. There's so much more to life than being in a relationship. But basically, my point here is relationships have been romanticized, especially on the internet. Like, they've been made to seem like something so easy. They're made to seem easier than they actually are, because relationships take a lot of work, and the internet doesn't show you the work that goes into making relationships work. They just show you the nice part, like a couple going on a picnic, going on a trip together. They'll show you all of that, but they won't show you the actual work that goes into making sure that relationship actually works out. And like, I have no issue with people showing that they are enjoying their relationship, but I think the one thing that people should always keep in mind is that's just what they're showing you. There's so much more that goes into being in a relationship than what is seen on the internet. But basically, my point here is relationships have been romanticized, and I don't think people should feel pressure to get into a relationship just because of what you're seeing online. The internet is fake. So much more that goes on off camera, and you really shouldn't feel any kind of pressure to get into a relationship if that's not what you want right now. It's okay if you want to remain single. It's okay if you want to spend time on your own. That's actually very important. Building a relationship with yourself, that's also part of this whole relationships thing. It's really important to make sure you have a relationship with yourself first before you go out to have a relationship with someone else. I'm trying to make this look as simple as possible, so I've tried to make the brows light. I don't want them to be so dramatic, so I've just used my brow gel for that. A number of you asked about hygiene, and considering this is a girl talk and those questions were sent in by girls, I'm assuming you're asking about hygiene of that area down there. I think we all know how delicate that area is, and the one thing that's constantly being said about cleaning that area is not to use soap, especially soap that is perfumed. The articles I've read about cleaning that area, they talk about not using scented soap, and if you do have to use soap, you use unscented soap. But most of those articles actually say that less is more. The less you do, the better. If you do use scented soap on your area, it's going to affect your pH, and that is not something that you want. I think I've actually seen somewhere they were saying that using scented soap is linked to a few infections. I'm not so sure about that, to be very honest, but the main point is don't use soap, especially scented soap. And the one method that is encouraged is using water, just using water, using warm water, and get like a washcloth, a proper washcloth to clean that area, but avoid scented soap. That's the one thing I'm certain of. And if you do decide to use washes, because there are types of soap made for that particular area, I wouldn't suggest using it all the time. Just avoid overusing the washes. You don't need to do too much to be clean. It's not good for that area, especially scented soap. That's the one thing I'm 100% sure about. Don't use scented soap on your area. It's going to affect you. It's also linked to some complications other than your pH. I'm not so sure about them. I'm not a doctor, but I know using scented soap does have an effect on your area, and that's really not something anyone wants to experience. It's not fun at all. So I would suggest avoiding scented soap, and less is more. Again, I'm going to say that less is more. I'll start by saying that it's normal to sweat, and it's normal for that sweat to smell. That's literally a waste being excreted by your body, and there's no way any kind of waste leaving the body is going to smell good. But of course there are things you can do, like using roll-on. That will help. And if you're using roll-on, I think there's roll-on that doesn't have aluminium, if I'm not wrong. I don't know if it's aluminium. There's a specific component in some roll-ons that do have an effect on your skin, and if you can find roll-on that doesn't have any aluminium in it, I'm not so sure if it's aluminium or if it's something else and I'm just thinking it's aluminium. But if you can get one that doesn't have that particular component, I'll look it up and add it on the screen when I'm editing. But there's a particular component in some roll-ons that do have an effect, and if you can find one that doesn't have that particular component, it's better for you. Although I know most roll-ons do have that component I'm talking about. I'm just not sure which one it is. But you can use roll-on, and you can also use perfume. I know I use perfume, like personally I use a lot of perfume, and it's something that's usually pointed out whenever I'm with people, and I usually feel so nice, because I think one of the best compliments you can receive is that you smell good, and I usually get so excited because I think that's one of the best compliments. But yeah, you can just use perfume, roll-on, and you can also use body oil that has like a nice scent, because you know, once you apply oil on your body, the scent on that particular oil will stick on your skin, and you end up actually smelling good without even realizing that you are. So that's something else you can do. I know personally I do all three, because like I've said, I'm so big on like scent, but I pick an oil and a roll-on that's not so strong, because my perfume is really strong and it does the job for me. But you can also get an oil that has like a strong smell if you don't have perfume. If you have perfume, you can just skip the whole oil thing and just stick to using the perfume, because you also don't want to overdo it and end up irritating the people that are around you, and they end up feeling like they can't even sit next to you. So you can just do it moderately. So it's just about moderating and making sure you're not irritating the people around you, thinking that you smell good when really you've just overdone it. So yeah, you also have to find like a balance with that whole thing as well. Balancing content creation with your schoolwork. Well, for me, what works is I work with a list of priorities, realizing what has priority over the other one right now, because at one point I won't have any school to do with. For me, my priority right now is school, and then content creation comes after. So I work everything around the fact that I'm in school. So if I need to create content, I will keep it in mind and I'll have it like in my list of things to do. But I'm going to work around the fact that I'm in school and I have school work to do and I have to keep up with school. So if I do need to create content, I have to make sure I'm focused on what's happening in school, because it's very easy to lose track of schoolwork if I don't keep up with it actively. So for me, when it comes to content creation and school, it's just a matter of having my priorities straight and realizing what can wait and what can't wait. At one point I won't be in school anymore and I won't have to worry about school, and I can give content creation all the attention. But as of now, since I have school to deal with, content creation is currently not #1 on my list of priorities. But once I'm done with school, I can give it so much attention. And that's just the way I make sure I'm not literally losing my mind trying to create content and I have school. So like if on a particular week I have a lot of work, I'm not really going to stress myself with trying to create content in that week. I can postpone it. And then when I get proper time and I feel like I can create content on that particular day, then I will. Like today I had free time, so I decided to film this video, but on some days I don't have this much free time, so I wouldn't have been able to, and I wouldn't have like been upset about it because it's just something that has to happen. So yeah, that's basically my method of balancing the two, and I don't even think I would consider that balancing. It's just realizing what needs more of my attention than the other right now, and then maybe later on it will be different. It actually will be different later on because I won't have school to deal with. I'm not gonna be in school forever, so I'm gonna have more time on my hands. But as of now, I have school and it's currently my top priority. So yeah, that's basically just the way I work around that. Someone wanted me to talk about boys. What exactly about boys? Because there's a lot to be said. But nah, I don't know what exactly you want me to talk about when it comes to boys. Let's ignore the fact that my blenders are so dirty. I haven't had a chance to wash them, but I will after this video. About insecurities, I think I've said it before. Everyone has their own insecurities and it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with having an insecurity. I think for me what I usually do, and I've said it before on my channel, is I just try and accept them and love them, because really there's nowhere they're gonna go. They're always gonna be a part of you, unless I guess you decide to get them corrected, which is also okay. The best thing you can do for yourself is accept them, and I know that's easier said than done, but just be patient with yourself. But the one thing I've not talked about is the fact that it's not okay to project your insecurities on other people. Like the thing is, sometimes a person might not be happy with their life and maybe something that's happening to them, and it's okay to not be happy. But what's not okay is projecting your insecurities on someone else. I don't know how best to put it, but sometimes people say things or do things because they are feeling some type of way about something to do with themselves. I think we've all had that phrase before. I don't know how exactly to explain it. I don't know the exact words to use for it, but there's a way a person can project what they're feeling on you. It's kind of like when someone is not feeling great about themselves and they kind of project it on other people. The fact that they're not feeling okay with themselves, they project it on others. The next topic I was given was friendships, and when it comes to friendships, I think we can all agree that our friendships as adults are different from the way they were when we were younger. Because like for my friends and I, we don't really text every day, but when we were younger, like when we were in high school and primary school, we were constantly texting each other. I think that's something I realized changed a lot when we got old, and it's not like anyone takes it personally. I think we can all admit that when we became adults, our lives became a bit more busy, but I know I can go to either of them if I need help with something. For me, the one thing I really don't like is when people give me backhanded compliments. The compliments that seem like compliments but really they're insults. I don't like those kind of compliments. That's the one thing that usually gets to me, and I don't talk to people that give me backhanded compliments. Like I'd rather not have you around me because why are you giving me insults masked as compliments? That's weird. Also, whenever I'm in a situation where I feel like my friendship with this person is not helping me, like it's doing more harm than good, I usually just keep my distance from those kind of people as well. I don't think I should be in a friendship where I feel stressed almost all the time. I feel like I should feel comfortable in my friendships, and if I don't feel comfortable in them, then I just keep my distance. Like there's no bad blood or anything. I'm just not willing to be in a friendship where I can't be comfortable. It's just like a relationship. You wouldn't be in a relationship where you're not comfortable. That makes sense. So I wouldn't be in a friendship where I don't feel comfortable around the person. And yeah, I think that does it for me when it comes to friendship. The other question I received was the truths about content creation. I think the one thing that happened to me that I didn't appreciate at all when it happened, because it didn't happen anymore, but there was a point when I was constantly being compared to other content creators in Kenya. So like I would be told things like, why can't you post content like this person, especially if it's someone who does exactly what I do, like either beauty content or fashion content. Any of those, I would constantly get asked, why can't you post content like this person, or this person's content is better than yours, maybe you should consider doing what they do. And that's something I would hear a lot, and I didn't appreciate those statements at all, because I'm a completely different human being and they're different as well. What they post is not what I want to post. So whenever I would get those kind of comments, I would delete those comments, or I would delete the DMs. And those people who said it but in a very disrespectful way, I would actually just block them, because what's the need of being so disrespectful? But most times I wouldn't really pay mind to those comment. The hard part was finding out what exactly I want to put out. That was hard. Like finding what my brand is or what I want to be identified by. I think that was the thing that was difficult for me. I think right now I'm okay with who I am. I'm okay with what I'm doing. I'm comfortable. I do know there's still a lot of room to grow. And I'm not like hesitant to growing or anything. I do recognize that there is a lot of room to grow, but when I found what kind of content I want to put out, I think that was a good thing for me, because now I don't really struggle when I'm trying to film a video. It just comes out naturally. But at one point I felt like I was struggling to find out what exactly I want to put out, or how exactly I want to put it out. And I think if you look at my first video, you can just see there's a bit of a struggle. Like usually when I look at that video, I get very upset because I don't like the way it came out, because I was still trying to figure out how exactly I want to put out my content. So because it was the first video, of course I just put it out, but it's not really the same way I would bring out my content right now. Like it's different. My content right now is quite different from the way it was when I started out, and I'm really grateful, honestly, that I was able to figure out how exactly I want to bring out what I want to bring out. I think those are all the topics I'm going to touch on today, because most of the topics you guys sent to me were kind of linked, and I've talked about them in some way when I was addressing the other topics, so I'm not really going to go through each and every question I was sent, because somehow most of those questions fall under the ones I've already talked about. Like there were questions about friendship, and I've already talked about friendship. There were questions about relationships, and I've talked about relationships. Hygiene, I've talked about hygiene. I've covered most of what you guys sent to me. So for this final bit of the video, I'm just going to focus on doing my makeup, and then that will be it for this video. So I will just speed through this process, and then that will be it for this video.
It's the right time to make the right decisions on my own. And when I think of you as just my friend, you've been there for me. Please stop looking at me with the
So this is the final look. It's a very dramatic eyeshadow look, but everything else is very minimal. The eyebrows are very minimal. The foundation doesn't exist because I didn't use any foundation. The concealer, the contour, everything is just very minimal, and that kind of helps the eyes stand out, so I really like that. I don't have much to say, it's just a really cute look. I didn't use any eyelashes because like I said when I was starting up this whole video, I didn't want anything dramatic, so I didn't use any lashes. So yeah, I really like how this whole thing turned out. It looks really nice. Is it something I would wear out? Yeah, I would. It's something I would definitely wear out. It's not too much, maybe just the eyes, and that's fine. I don't mind that. It's definitely something I would wear if I was going out. I don't know where exactly, but yeah. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I did enjoy filming this. It's been a minute since I sat down to film an actual video like this, so I'm glad I got the time. Make sure you subscribe and like so that this video can get to more people. But that's it for me. Thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you guys in my next video.
That's the color you